If you are over 70 and your knees are getting worse every month, you may be accelerating that decline without realizing it. I am going to say something that many people in my profession avoid saying clearly. By the time most adults over 70 feel constant knee pain, structural degeneration has often been progressing silently for years. Cartilage has been thinning, synovial fluid has been losing viscosity, quadriceps muscles have been shrinking, blood flow to joint structures has been declining, mitochondria inside cartilage cells have been slowing down. And yet most people are told to take a pain pill, maybe try glucosamine, maybe get an injection, maybe rest more. Pain relief is not the same as structural protection. In some cases, masking pain actually accelerates decline because you continue moving on an unstable, biologically compromised joint without addressing what is failing underneath. After 70, inaction is not neutral. It is decline. Many seniors are still spending money on glucosamine because they were told it rebuilds cartilage. The evidence for glucosamine is inconsistent at best, especially in advanced age. It may help some people with mild symptoms, but it does not meaningfully reverse cartilage thinning in late-stage degeneration. It does not restore synovial fluid quality. It does not correct mitochondrial dysfunction in aging chondrocytes. It does not reverse quadriceps atrophy. Meanwhile, there is a natural food-based intervention that shows stronger biological plausibility and better functional outcomes in adults over 70. It is not a miracle. It will not cure arthritis, but it can improve measurable markers like stiffness, stability, and inflammatory load by 10 to 20% when used consistently and correctly. And that matters, because a 10% improvement in stability can mean fewer falls. A 15% reduction in stiffness can mean the difference between independent living and assisted mobility. A 20% improvement in muscle strength can reduce joint load significantly during walking. All scientific references are linked in the description. Before I rank the most critical actions you should be taking right now, I want to ask you something. How old are you? How long have your knees been getting worse? Do you feel instability when you turn or step off a curb? Have you reduced activity because of pain? I read the comments. I respond when I can. Your details matter because knee decline after 70 is not identical to knee pain at 50. Now, I am going to rank the most important interventions from least urgent to most urgent. The number one intervention is the one I believe you should address immediately. We will start at the bottom. Number 6 is something most seniors completely underestimate: protein intake. What most seniors are doing wrong is assuming they eat enough protein because they have meat once a day. After 70, anabolic resistance develops. That means your muscles do not respond to protein the way they did at 40 or 50. The signal to build or maintain muscle becomes weaker. Inside your knee joint, muscle loss is not cosmetic. Quadriceps wasting increases joint compressive force. We see this clearly in imaging and gait analysis. When quadriceps strength drops, shock absorption drops. The joint experiences higher peak forces with every step. Cartilage that is already thinning experiences more stress. Chronic low-grade inflammation, sometimes called inflammaging, further suppresses muscle protein synthesis. Mitochondria inside muscle fibers become less efficient. You lose strength silently. Research in older adults consistently shows that daily protein intake, closer to 1.0 to 1.2 grams per kilogram of body weight, supports better muscle preservation compared to the standard 0.8 grams per kilogram. For a 70-kilogram adult, that is roughly 70 to 84 grams per day. After 70, this becomes critical because anabolic resistance means you need more stimulus to maintain the same muscle mass. If you ignore this, quadriceps atrophy accelerates, instability increases, fall risk increases, and cartilage degeneration speeds up under increased mechanical stress. Implementation is straightforward. Distribute protein evenly across meals. Aim for 25 to 35 grams per meal. Include high-quality sources such as eggs, fish, poultry, Greek yogurt, legumes, or whey protein if tolerated. Combine protein intake with light resistance training 2 to 3 times per week to amplify the anabolic signal. Measurable improvement is realistic. In 12 to 16 weeks, many older adults can see a 10 to 15% increase in leg strength when protein intake is corrected and paired with resistance training. That translates to improved chair rise time and better walking stability. But protein alone is not enough. Number 5 is resistance training focused on the quadriceps and hip stabilizers. Most seniors are told to just walk more. Walking is good for cardiovascular health, but it does not adequately load the quadriceps to prevent atrophy in advanced age. Resting because of pain is even worse. After 70, prolonged rest accelerates muscle collapse and joint stiffness. Inside the knee joint, reduced muscle activity leads to poor circulation of synovial fluid. Synovial fluid is not just lubrication, it delivers nutrients to cartilage. Cartilage does not have direct blood vessels. It relies on mechanical loading to drive fluid exchange. If you reduce movement excessively, synovial fluid becomes less dynamic. Cartilage cells receive fewer nutrients. Waste products accumulate. Mitochondrial function declines further. Studies in older adults show that structured resistance training, even at moderate intensity, improves joint function and reduces pain scores modestly but consistently. Not 80%, not a miracle, but 15 to 25% improvements in strength and functional capacity are common over several months. After 70, this is critical because muscle decline compounds. Joint degeneration. It becomes a cycle. Pain leads to less movement leads to more weakness. More weakness leads to more joint stress. Implementation should be controlled and safe. Sit to stand repetitions from a stable chair, 2 to 3 sets of 8 to 12 repetitions, 3 times per week. Straight leg raises. Wall-supported mini squats within a pain-free range. Step-ups on a low platform. Always prioritize form and stability over depth or intensity. In 8 to 12 weeks, improved balance and a measurable increase in walking speed are realistic outcomes. That 10 to 20% improvement can reduce fall risk significantly, but we are not done. Number 4 is addressing chronic low-grade inflammation through dietary pattern, not supplements alone. Most seniors focus on isolated supplements. They add turmeric, they add glucosamine, but they ignore the overall inflammatory load of their diet. Inside aging knee tissue, inflammatory cytokines such as interleukin-6 and tumor necrosis, factor alpha, contribute to cartilage breakdown. Inflammaging is not dramatic. It is subtle. It is persistent. It slowly damages tissue over time. High intake of refined carbohydrates, processed seed oils, and excessive sugar can amplify systemic inflammation. This does not cause arthritis by itself, but it worsens progression. Research consistently shows that Mediterranean-style dietary patterns, rich in vegetables, olive oil, nuts, fatty fish, and whole foods are associated with lower inflammatory markers and better mobility outcomes in older adults. After 70, your immune system regulation changes. You are more vulnerable to chronic inflammatory signaling. Ignoring this accelerates cartilage thinning and synovial membrane irritation. Implementation means prioritizing fatty fish 2 to 3 times per week, replacing refined oils with extra virgin olive oil, increasing fiber intake through vegetables and legumes, and reducing ultra-processed foods.
Measured improvements may include modest reductions in C-reactive protein and improved stiffness scores over 3 to 6 months. Again, not a cure, but measurable. Now we move closer to the top. Number 3 is optimizing synovial fluid dynamics through controlled movement and hydration. Most seniors do not realize that dehydration affects joint lubrication. Synovial fluid is largely water-based. With aging, synovial fluid viscosity changes. It becomes less effective at shock absorption. If you are chronically underhydrated, that fluid becomes less efficient. Combined with reduced movement, lubrication declines further. Inside the joint, cartilage surfaces experience higher friction. Microdamage accumulates. Over time, this contributes to thinning. After 70, thirst perception often declines. Many older adults simply do not drink enough fluids. Implementation is simple but often ignored. Aim for consistent hydration throughout the day, unless medically restricted. Combine this with gentle daily range of motion exercises such as heel slides and seated knee extensions to stimulate synovial circulation. While hydration alone will not transform your knee, combined with movement, it can improve morning stiffness and reduce perceived grinding sensations in some individuals within weeks. Now we are at number 2. Number 2 is something that many people resist because it sounds too simple. Body weight management. Most doctors focus on symptoms, not progression. They prescribe pain medication but avoid difficult conversations about load. For every extra kilogram of body weight, the knee experiences roughly 3 to 4 kilograms of additional force during walking. Over thousands of steps per day, that is enormous cumulative stress. After 70, cartilage is thinner, shock absorption is lower, muscle strength is often reduced. The same excess weight that was tolerated at 50 becomes far more damaging at 75. Research consistently shows that even a 5 to 10% reduction in body weight can significantly reduce knee pain and improve function in older adults with osteoarthritis. Inside the joint, reduced load decreases mechanical stress on already compromised cartilage. Inflammatory markers often decline modestly with fat loss. Mobility improves, which further supports muscle maintenance. Implementation should be gradual and medically supervised when necessary. Focus on nutrient-dense foods, adequate protein to preserve muscle, and modest caloric reduction. Combined with resistance training to avoid muscle loss during weight reduction. A realistic, measurable improvement might be a 10 to 15% reduction in pain scores and improved walking tolerance after losing 5 to 7% of body weight over several months. But now we reach number 1. Number 1 is the natural food I believe is more biologically relevant than glucosamine after 70. Fatty fish rich in omega-3 fatty acids such as salmon, sardines, and mackerel. Let me explain why. Glucosamine is a building block of cartilage matrix components, but oral supplementation does not reliably translate into significant cartilage regeneration in advanced age. The aging joint is not primarily suffering from a simple lack of glucosamine. It is suffering from dysregulated inflammation, mitochondrial dysfunction in chondrocytes, and altered signaling pathways that govern tissue repair. Omega-3 fatty acids, particularly EPA and DHA found in fatty fish, directly influence inflammatory signaling pathways. They are incorporated into cell membranes. They alter eicosanoid production. They reduce pro-inflammatory cytokine activity. Inside aging knee cartilage, excessive inflammatory signaling accelerates matrix breakdown. Omega-3 fatty acids help shift that balance modestly toward a less destructive state. Research in older adults with joint pain shows that higher omega-3 intake is associated with reduced stiffness and improved function scores. Not dramatic, not 90%, but often in the range of 10 to 20% improvement in symptom measures over time. After 70, this becomes critical because inflammaging amplifies degenerative processes. Your knees do not just need less inflammation, they need intervention at the signaling level. Additionally, omega-3 fatty acids may support muscle protein synthesis sensitivity when combined with resistance training. Some studies suggest improved muscle response in older adults when omega-3 intake is adequate. That means better preservation of quadriceps strength, which directly protects the knee joint. Implementation is practical. Consume fatty fish at least 2 to 3 times per week. A typical serving of salmon provides roughly 1 to 2 grams of combined EPA and DHA. If fish is not tolerated, high-quality fish oil supplements can be considered under medical supervision, usually in the range of 1 to 2 grams of combined EPA and DHA daily. Consistency matters more than intensity. This is not about taking a high dose for 2 weeks. It is about long-term incorporation into your diet. Measurable outcomes may include reduced morning stiffness, improved joint comfort during walking, and modest reductions in inflammatory markers over several months. Why is this more urgent than glucosamine? Because glucosamine attempts to provide raw material. Omega-3 fatty acids influence the environment in which your cartilage cells operate. If the environment remains chronically inflammatory, simply adding building blocks does not solve the problem. Delaying this means ongoing inflammatory signaling continues to damage cartilage matrix. Combined with muscle loss and mechanical overload, progression accelerates. Knee decline is not inevitable at the same rate for everyone, but ignoring these biological realities is dangerous. By the time you feel constant pain, structural changes may already be underway. The industry profits from maintenance, not prevention. After 70, you cannot afford passive management. You need adequate protein to fight anabolic resistance. You need resistance training to prevent muscle collapse. You need anti-inflammatory dietary patterns to calm chronic cytokine activity. You need hydration and movement to maintain synovial fluid dynamics. You need weight control to reduce mechanical overload, and you need omega-3 rich fatty fish to influence inflammatory signaling at the cellular level. None of this is dramatic, none of this is a miracle, but together these interventions can slow decline, improve stability, and enhance quality of life. I want you to take action this week. Decide which of these you're starting first. Are you increasing protein? Are you scheduling resistance sessions? Are you adding fatty fish twice this week? Comment and tell me your age and what you are committing to change. Knee degeneration after 70 is often silent at first, but silence does not mean safety. Structured, consistent intervention can produce measurable improvements. 10% stronger muscles, 15% less stiffness, better balance, fewer near falls. That is not small. That is the difference between independence and dependence. All scientific references are linked in the description. Read them. Take this seriously and start now while your knees still have capacity to respond.